Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. To be honest, I've actually counted quite a few times to discuss the character named Feixiao on this channel. However, since the information about this character is quite scattered, it is a bit difficult for me to make a complete video about this character. But in this video, we have finally collected most of her kits. So in this video, we will discuss everything about Feixiao, from her background story to her appearances to the kits she currently has. So without further ado, let's get started. Do you have a character or weapon in the game that you really want but you don't have enough stellar jades? Here is a smarter way to recharge your favorite games like Genshin Impact and honkaistarrail. Look no further than Loot Bar. Loot Bar is the most reliable top-up platform, saving 20% for all orders compared with the official channel, and an extra 5% off for your first purchase. It's 100% safe as you will only be using your UID. We will buy a pack for 3000 stellar jades for $42, which otherwise would have cost $50. Totally saving $7.5. We received the crystals we purchased in less than 3 minutes. All recharge will be done through the official channel with miHoYo, which allows you to enjoy all top-up offers. Ready to level up your gaming experience? Check the link in the description to get the amazing discount. Feixiao, also known as Merlin's Claw, was one of the 7 arbiter generals of the Zhanzhou Alliance Cloud Knights. She was as important as Jing Yuan. Feixiao is in charge of the Zhanzhou Yaoqing ship. We also know from Xu Shang's interactive voice that Jing Yuan isn't as great as Feixiao. So it seems like Feixiao might be stronger than Jing Yuan in the story. But we can't be sure because we are only hearing Xu Shang's opinion. This info has been around for a while, but that's okay. We will go over the type and path of Feixiao. We have heard from a reliable source that Feixiao is going to be a 5-star character with a wind type, just like Blade and Wo. She will be following the path of the hunt, so she will be good at fighting a few enemies at once. Or maybe she will be perfect for Apocalyptic Shadow mode because there are usually fewer enemies in Apocalyptic mode. The marketing drip for version 2.4 came through a little while ago, and now we can see what Feixiao really looks like. From the banner image, it looks like Feixiao is one of the characters with a fairly unique appearance. Everything from the clothes she wears to the weapon she uses are new to honkaistarrail. What do you think about Feixiao's latest design? Do you like it? I think the design of Feixiao is very good and maybe the best among several characters in recent patches. Alright, now we are getting to the meat of this video, which is her kit. Just a heads up, the info about Feixiao's kit isn't official yet, so it might change. Let's start by discussing her skill. In terms of skills, she will perform a single tag target with 120% of Feixiao's attack and get a special buff called Unlimited Slash. If we only look at the existing percentage, it is still unclear whether this 120% is a skill at level 1 or level 12. But if the listed level is level 1, it can be predicted that the damage produced will be quite large for a single target. The bug is seen in the skill and she will get one stack buff called Unlimited Slash, which will be useful for activating her enhanced skill. Okay, next on the agenda is a discussion of the enhanced skills she has. If Feixiao has 2 layers of Unlimited Slash stack, one of which she can get by using skills, she will activate her enhanced skill and move forward by 100%, which means she will get a turn back. In this mode, she will also get an additional speed status of 50 and critical damage of 100%. This enhanced skill allows you to inflict 2 types of damage on your enemies. If the enemy is the target of the enhanced skill and has blue dot, it will produce wind damage equal to 180% of Feixiao's attack. Meanwhile, enemies with red dot will also produce an additional 200% break damage, which is equal to Feixiao's wind break damage. At first glance, this skill seems a bit complicated, but it's actually quite straightforward. If the enemy is weakened and gets red dot from Feixiao, the damage generated through this enhanced skill will increase. On top of that, I think this special buff given to Feixiao is great. The additional 50 speed and 100% critical damage will make the damage she produces huge. Plus, if we focus Feixiao to prioritize speed, she will move really quickly. Okay, next we will go over her ultimate. This ultimate will cost her 120 energy. Then she will attack a single target enemy for 125% of Feixiao's attack and get 4 layers of stacks from unlimited slash. On top of that, if Feixiao uses this skill as follow-up attack, it will ignore the target's weakness and reduce their toughness. On the surface, it seems pretty straightforward, but there are actually a few different effects going on here. First, if she casts this ultimate in the usual way, it will do about the same damage as her enhanced skills. The key difference is that in her ultimate, she will get 4 layers of unlimited slash. If we look at the existing description, it seems that her ultimate can be used without going through normal method. In fact, her ultimate can be used through her passive. When Feixiao uses this method, it will ignore the target's weakness and reduce its toughness. This last effect is similar to the ultimate effect possessed by Acheron, where Acheron can reduce enemy toughness by ignoring the enemy's weakness. Okay, next we will look at her talents. This talent goes into more detail about the blue and red dot she has at the start of the kit. When Feixiao joins the fight, she will toss a blue dot, which might be in the form of a mark, at an enemy at random. If Feixiao attacks an enemy with the blue dot, she will deal 50% more damage. When an enemy with a blue dot enters weakness broken mode, the blue dot will change to a red dot, increasing the break damage received by 36%. On top of that, when Feixiao attacks with enhanced skills, she gets 2 layers of unlimited slash. When it reaches 4 layers, it will issue a follow-up attack of 110% of Feixiao's attack to the enemy. I think this is a pretty interesting talent and seems very new in the honkaistarrail. The key is to focus on enemy with a mark called a blue dot to maximize damage output. Once we have 4 stacks of unlimited slash, we can do a single target follow-up attack. At first glance, the kit system seems similar to Jade, right? But in my opinion, this kit is interesting, but has weakness. Namely, if we face a large number of enemies, we cannot freely choose the target we will attack, because we lose the bonus damage that she has on her talent. What do you think? Next, we will take a look at her first trace. Feixiao has a pretty solid trace that can boost the critical rate and critical damage over time. However, the increase in critical rate and critical damage is based on the break effect she has, with a total that can be obtained up to 50% per 170%. This shows that to get the best out of Feixiao, you need enough break effect so you can use her trace to its fullest. From what we know about this trace, you need at least 300% break effect to get the most out of it. This is similar to what we saw with Firefly, where Firefly needed around 360% to be used to its fullest. Next, we will see Feixiao's enhanced skill ignore the target's defense by 10%. To be frank, while this trace isn't exclusive to Feixiao's kit, it's a valuable addition. You can always use ignore defense in different situations, including with super break. As we know, one of the factors that determine the amount of super break damage is ignore defense. So we can see from this trace that Feixiao will be able to be paired with other super break units. But we have to wait for the official release from Hoyoverse. In the last trace, when Feixiao does a weakness break on the enemy, she will get an additional break effect of 40%. After doing a follow-up attack, there will be an increase in critical damage by 25%. To be fair, this is a solid trace. As we know, adding a break effect will increase the critical rate and critical damage. This is good for reducing the requirements of her break effect to make the most of all the traces she has. One thing we can get through this trace is that Feixiao must often do weakness breaks on enemies so that this trace can be activated continuously. Honestly, this is a bit tricky to do, especially if you often use the auto feature in the game. What do you think? Next, we will discuss her technique. Frankly, when I first saw this technique, I didn't think it had much of a purpose. As we can see in the technique description, Feixiao will release a missile that will have a dimension effect that will follow the main character being used. The existing dimension will prevent enemies from attacking and will haul all nearby enemies. This technique could be useful if you want to farm materials, because by using this technique you can defeat enemies simultaneously. However, at the time this video was posted, there was no additional information about the additional effect in the battle. One of the big questions on the minds of most players at this time is whether Feixiao will be as strong as Acheron. As we know, Acheron is currently the dominant character in almost all endgame modes in this game. Based on the intel we got from HXG Deluxe a while back, he said that the two strongest characters in version 2.x were Acheron and Feixiao. This naturally gives rise to a number of questions among honkaistarrail players. But if we look at what we discussed before, it seems that Feixiao could become a meta character. She has skills that could produce a lot of damage. On top of that, if she becomes a third DPS character that works well with a team that relies on super break, that would be great. If that happens, it's not out of the question that Feixiao will become a meta character down the road. This is definitely something to keep an eye on, given that Feixiao is expected to make an appearance in version 2.5, which is only about 2 months away. Maybe this is the time to start preparing our Sailor Jade. What do you think? This is likely to be a question that many people will ask when considering pulling a Feixiao banner. What's the main difference between Boothill and Feixiao? Why? The reason is that both Boothill and Feixiao follow the same path, which is the hunt. On top of that, these two characters have pretty much the same role but just different elements. To be fair, there are some similarities between these two characters, but I think there are also some fundamental differences between Boothill and Feixiao for now. First, Boothill is a unit whose build focus is weakness break. This means that in Boothill's build, we can focus only on increasing break efficiency in its stat, just like Firefly. Meanwhile, it looks like Feixiao still relies on critical ratio in her kit and relies on other characters to boost weakness break on the enemy. Second, Boothill can also add physical weakness to the enemy through his ultimate and technique, which Feixiao can't do yet. Third, Boothill can choose his target freely while Feixiao can't. The blue dot that appears is randomly selected to the enemy in the field, so the enemy's target selection becomes inflexible. I think that's all for now. What do you think? Do you wanna pull her later? Please leave your comments and don't forget to check out my other videos. Thanks for watching, stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video.